I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of shit in lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry.
What do I owe the pleasure? What do I owe the pleasure? Last time we speaking together, we wash your car for you. We wash your car. We wash your car with no shame in our hustle. When you got them getting it to that wash, and you know that chip gonna be good like this right there in this coast. Y'all better stop wearing this slippery soap, man. What's going on here?
The internet lit up overnight after 50 Cent allegedly released explosive recordings that instantly pushed Rick Ross back into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Nobody saw this coming, and within minutes, social media turned into complete disorder. This wasn't just another celebrity argument or a routine rap clash. According to insiders, the material spreading online had people inside the industry scrambling behind closed doors. Sources close to the situation claim the leak was carefully timed, making the impact even more intense. Once clips from the recording started circulating, fans and critics began dissecting every second, searching for hidden details and possible connections. The reaction was immediate and brutal. What shocked people most was how calculated the move appeared to be. 50 didn't simply respond to old tension. He reignited years of rivalry with one unexpected drop that completely shifted the conversation. Now the fallout is growing by the hour, and many believe this situation is only entering its first stage.
Just like New York, just like Mount Vernon, New York City, Mount Vernon, and Miami, all that is the same, bruh. Nobody wants to be near him. Nobody wants to touch what he touched, be where he at. You understand? It's crazy, bruh, how his fall from grace, which was never from grace, it's just like the devil just kicked him out of hell, because he was never in nothing graceful and did anything graceful. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say about, okay, he did the music, he had the bad boy legacy and everything like that, man. But, you know, a few albums, a few people, you know, made to be famous, but they not here to tell their story. Black Rob, Biggie, Craig Mack. They not here to tell their story, bro. And now you got everybody telling his story.
Yeah, and I know 50, he did a recent interview with US Weekly saying that the reason why rappers are quiet about, you know, Diddy's situation is because they been to his parties and they don't know what got caught on tape.
Bruh, those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house. That's a big house.
For years, many people treated the feud between 50 Cent and Rick Ross like ordinary rap drama, but behind the scenes, things may have been far more strategic. Ever since Ross mocked him with the Officer Ricky narrative back in the late 2000s, 50 appeared to step back publicly while quietly observing everything from a distance. Meanwhile, Ross focused on expanding his image, promoting businesses, luxury lifestyles, and major partnerships. But according to online speculation, 50 never lost interest in the rivalry. Instead, he reportedly spent years waiting for the perfect moment to respond in a way nobody expected. Fans now believe those strange social media posts about fake personas and industry behavior were subtle warnings all along. Then, without announcement, explanation, or build-up, a mysterious clip suddenly appeared online. Within minutes, timelines exploded, reaction videos flooded the internet, and the hip-hop world shifted into panic mode. What looked random at first now feels deliberate. And if this was part of a bigger plan, many are wondering how long it had actually been in motion.
Had 250 tape recorders in that house that they took, that the feds found. So now with them finding all that and you being at a Diddy party, you know You may have done something that was caught on one of those tapes. You just better pray to God that they don't recognize you. Those people who know that they did something, no, they're not going to speak out. They're not going to say nothing. What part of the game is that? They are not going to come forward and tell on themselves. Nah, not at all. Ice Cube, he said it himself, bro. He said that Diddy's been targeted because of what he said about those folks and those people. Now, the people who was on those tapes may feel like Diddy might be targeting them. Because if he's asked about who is this, who is that, and he's under oath with the federal government, he got to tell them. He's not going to plead the fifth.
Yeah, I know that got to be a terrible feeling, man. You know you did something wrong at Diddy party, and you hoping and praying that it's not caught on tape.
But they don't think they did nothing wrong. That's their lifestyle. That's their lifestyle, bro. I ask guys all the time, if two men lay down, how many homos get up? What you mean? I mean what I mean. It's what it is.
The second the footage surfaced, chaos spread across the entertainment industry. Executives reportedly began holding emergency discussions while public relations teams rushed to control the damage before the story spiraled further. People connected to both Ross and Diddy suddenly went quiet online, fueling even more speculation. Observers say this didn't feel like a typical diss or internet stunt. It looked more like a carefully planned strike designed to hit at the exact moment Ross seemed most comfortable and untouchable. That timing alone raised eyebrows everywhere. According to rumors circulating online, Ross initially dismissed the situation as another trolling attempt from 50 Cent. But once he allegedly saw the actual footage, the tone changed immediately. The conversation around the feud became far more serious almost overnight. Now the biggest question inside the culture is simple. If 50 kept material like this hidden for years, could there be more waiting in the background? Because if this was only the first release, the next wave could create even bigger headlines.
100% factual, but it's somebody in this story of things that seems more reliable than others, Race, is what I'll say it, just to protect my sources. But this source informed me of who these A-list celebrities are on these tapes that are being allegedly auctioned off online and through the networks. And it's put me in a little bit of a bind because I like to be fully transparent with the audience. I want to say things, but I also realize from what I'm told, because again, I haven't seen them directly yet. I haven't, and I don't know if I want to. Race, I want your advice on that too. But the problem I have is just like, typically I want to report these things, but I got to be careful legally, ethically, morally as to what we report on here. Because as Ariel, the lawyer here, did admit, and I can attest based on the information I got from a separate, reliable source, people in these videos don't know they're being videotaped. That's a big issue, Race, right? Let's start out right there. If there are people on these tapes that don't know that they were being filmed, is that okay to talk about and to share?
I have a big problem with that, as do you, Andy, and you tend to be an ethical guy and you're taking the high ground here. Notwithstanding the fact that you may have some significant information and reliable information, but the reality is that, look, I mean, if people were recorded non-consensually and you are the one to identify them, I think that's a problem, right? And I think anytime anyone has content, right, this is not an email, this is not a text message, this is video. And there's specific statutes without using specific language I don't want to get into, but everybody knows what we're talking about here.
It's Diddy with this person, I'll say that. It's Diddy with this person. Actually, yes.
Yeah, and see, the problem is, again, like non-consensually recorded, you've got a victim here who may not want to be publicly identified. That's the problem. That's the problem. And they have a right to proceed if they want to, whether it's criminally or civilly, without being identified, because we know what's going to happen. As soon as they identify themselves, there's going to be a bunch of people that come out of the woodwork who are going to unequivocally harass them and claim that didn't happen, and they're making stuff up. And there's the victims that we want to protect here, and that's significant.
Well, it's interesting because here's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I know a lot of you are like, Andy, just say it. No, I'm not going to say them, but I wanted to have this conversation as to why we're not saying it and why I think others haven't yet said it, raised, because again, legally, ethically, morally, it's just not right. Now, there's an argument I've had with people who are like, well, they knew what they were doing with Diddy. Like these were consensual acts. Like they knew, and he filmed other times. So I don't know what the big deal is. It's going to come out. It's going to come out is what I keep hearing from other reliable sources. It may come out, but it's not going to come out via me. That's just to warn you all, because I don't think it's wise for us to put out something like you just confirmed it without the consent of the other person in the video. Because again, from what I'm gathering based on some of these tapes, and again, we're still learning more, and I haven't seen them with my own.
For a long time, Ross publicly denied having ties to certain behind-the-scenes dealings, but these alleged recordings have completely reignited old rumors. Online commentators claim the leaked material appears to connect Ross to conversations and situations he previously tried to distance himself from. What has people talking isn't just the existence of the tapes. It's the level of detail reportedly included in them. Some clips allegedly contain discussions about industry business arrangements, artist negotiations, and private dealings that fans were never supposed to hear. Insiders say the controversy is growing because the recordings seem to challenge the image Ross has spent years building. Long-time rumors surrounding his early career are suddenly being revisited, and people are connecting dots that were once dismissed as gossip. If more evidence continues surfacing, this could become larger than a simple rap feud. It could reshape how many people view Ross' entire rise in the music industry.
Weird that the government was so interested in Diddy's baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house. If the government took 1,000 bottles of baby oil and somebody had things what appeared to be baby oil, and then you have to listen to the prosecutor. He said that they seized 1,000 bottles what allegedly to be baby oil. Allegedly to be baby oil. So that's telling people that it wasn't baby oil. And people think that was baby oil, they out their mind. I don't believe it was baby oil. Yo, bro, when they went up in there, they knew what they was going to find. They knew what was ever in that baby oil or that those bottles that appeared to be baby oil, they knew about that at first. You got to realize 9 times out of 10, that individual that got caught at the airport, that was supposed to be their carrier, told them what they was doing and what they had. I wouldn't put him past that he told them everything. So when they went up in there, they knew they had to take whatever was out there, and that thing that appeared to be baby oil, they took that. They got to test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. Bro, listen to me. Costco don't sell that much baby oil. Where you know sell that much baby oil?
Yeah, I don't know any store that sell that much baby oil. I know Costco, they came out and said that they don't even sell baby oil.
My sentiments exactly.
But you personally, right, what do you believe was in the baby oil?
If you ever seen a massage parlor being raided and they walking out the people, do they take the massage oil with them when they go? No, they just walk out the people who are.
The reaction across the industry has been intense. Several insiders reportedly described the situation as watching a public image collapse in real time, with every new clip adding even more pressure. Ross Camp allegedly moved into crisis mode almost immediately, trying to figure out how much more content could still be out there. The timing has made the situation even more difficult. With major business ventures already in motion and multiple public controversies surrounding people connected to the story, these leaks landed at the worst possible moment. What began as online drama is now threatening brand relationships, partnerships, and years of reputation building. Every public response seems to trigger another wave of criticism, making it harder for Ross' team to regain control of the narrative. And according to people following the situation closely, the deeper audiences looked into the footage, the worse the backlash became. What started as speculation quickly turned into full-scale damage control.
You ever seen a person getting arrested and the people being arrested in those brothel houses? Do they take out the stuff in the brothel houses? No, they don't. They take the individuals who are being arrested out the brothel houses. For them to take 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it's like that they did not leave one. They left people there, but they ain't leave not one bottle. Nobody needed no baby oil. So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil. That's why they took all the bottles. And 9 times out of 10, if I would give it a wild guess, it was, and like some of the people told me, it was probably that GHB.
What's that?
I think it's gamma hydrox. I looked it up, bro. Let me see. See if I can find it. I know this is just showing everything like that, but oh no. Let me. Yo, somebody tap dance or sing or do something, you know what I'm saying, while I'm doing this. Oh, here it go right here. It's gamma hydroxy butyric. What is it effect on the body? It's a euphoria, drowsiness, decreased anxiety, and memory impairment. It works on the nervous system and gives you this feeling of euphoria. So they take that and rubbed it on her, and you forget who you are, what you're doing. It can also give you memory loss, drowsiness, and that's under the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration.gov.
Things reportedly escalated late at night when a series of emotional social media reactions began spreading online. Fans watched as Ross appeared frustrated, exhausted, and increasingly unpredictable during a lengthy Instagram rant that quickly went viral. To that point, attention shifted away from the tapes themselves and toward Ross' reaction. Instead of calming the situation down, every new post seemed to intensify the controversy. Sources online claimed his own team struggled to contain the fallout as clips from the live stream circulated everywhere. Voice messages, emotional statements, and personal accusations allegedly followed soon after, creating even more tension around the situation. The controversy reached another level when private information and personal details reportedly began getting mentioned publicly, causing serious concern among fans and insiders alike. As the situation spiraled further, even supporters started urging Ross to step away from social media before the damage became impossible to reverse. But by then, the internet had already locked in on every second of the chaos.
Activities with other, A-listers having activities together is what this is. And again, that's a potentially outing of somebody as well. You know what I mean? There's so many things here that happen in releasing of this private consensual moment that while salaciously everybody wants to know, and people are messaging me all the time, Andy, who's waiting? And it's like, I'm not going to say, because there seem to be way too many things that these people in the tapes, whether consensual, whether they, whatever, didn't agree to put out there. And I would think that's a legal issue too for anybody who puts these out first, no?
Yeah, you nailed it. You can't without the consent of the victim. That's the problem. Somebody thinks that somebody has no idea, right? You said, well, didn't they know they're being recorded? No. I mean, in these situations, the assumption is they did not know. And that's what we believe right now is the victims did not know that they were being recorded. If the victim comes out and says, okay, yes, I knew I was recorded, and a statement is provided, that's a different story. But of course, You don't know that. So you, Andy, probably can't be the one to break that ice and be like, well, this is what I heard and this is what I know. And so I'm going to say it. And there's all kinds of hairy legal issues on that, right? With privacy and intrusion on seclusion is what we call it. It's a privacy violation. There could be defamation implications. There could be criminal implications. So you're doing the right thing by treading carefully. And I think more people should do this rather than get into speculation. Now, if you see the videos, even still, right? If somebody takes the
not to interrupt, but that's the question. Like, am I allowed to see these videos? Like, if I were to ask this source, show me the videos, do I put myself in worse legal jeopardy?
That's another distinct legal issue, right? It's like you're watching something that someone didn't know they were being recorded of doing, right? And so it's dicey. It's dicey. Now, it would be different if you were an attorney and somebody's coming to you for purposes of defense or prosecution of a claim, a civil claim, or the filing, of some action to recover damages. That's a little different. But for purposes of, hey, look what I got, juicy gossip, and there are reporting outlets that I won't mention that will do stuff like this. I don't know that it's the smartest thing to do. I don't know that it's the careful thing to do. That's for sure. Or it's that it's the ethical or moral thing to do.
Yeah, it is exactly. I'm not a lawyer, but maybe this source will show you, and then you can verify what we know. But here's the other problem. Even if we verify what we know, like as I watched what Ariel, the lawyer, got these tapes, and even again, I don't want to get into the details, any remote details that could help explain or allude to even more of theories that are out there, or debunk or confirm. But I will say, hearing what I heard, which again isn't confirmation, but hearing what I heard, it makes me dislike what Ariel's doing even more, because I think there are going to be people out there, if this information does get out in some way, that are going to deny that these people are victims, that they're going to try to say, oh no, they're just consensually and they were hiding this affair and yada, yada, yada. And I don't see it that way personally. I mean, and granted, I haven't seen or know, like this isn't somebody involved from what I've gathered in these tapes of them, doing it to others in a way, criminally, like we've heard in some of these suits. This is just, it almost feels like, again, if it's real, like blackmail material that Diddy keeps to sort of hold over these people's heads. And to me, that's awful to the people in it, whether they agreed or knew or whatever. It still just feels like that's no one's freaking business, and maybe they were doing it for reasons we don't know. Just because we saw on the tape doesn't mean they weren't feeling pressured in other ways, right? So it's a heavy and complicated thing, but it's not a hard decision to say I can't run with trying to even allude to these people.
As pressure mounted, reports surfaced claiming Ross' team attempted to remove clips and recordings from multiple platforms through copyright complaints. But by that point, the content had already spread across nearly every corner of the internet, making containment almost impossible. Rumors also began circulating that large amounts of money were being offered behind the scenes to identify whoever originally recorded and leaked the footage. Instead of slowing down, the drama only intensified overnight. Fans noticed Ross becoming more active online through alternate accounts after restrictions reportedly hit his main pages. Each response appeared more emotional than the last, pulling additional artists and industry figures into the controversy. Discussions about streaming numbers, unpaid collaborations, and hidden industry practices suddenly entered the spotlight. To many observers, it looked less like someone defending their reputation and more like an empire unraveling publicly in real time. The industry quickly became divided, but Ross' increasingly unpredictable reactions made it difficult for allies to publicly stand beside him for long.
I 100% agree. Like, let's let this play out in the legal realm. If you ever get Ariel on your show, I'd love to talk with her and have this conversation if she's willing to do it publicly, because I still don't understand what her role is in all this. And I've heard at times broker, I've heard at times advocate for victim, and I don't want to judge what she's doing or not doing. I'd love to just have a conversation about it, because I personally don't get it, right? This is a very sensitive thing. Again, if this gets turned over to the feds and the feds bring claims and this is outed, that's a totally different story. But the feds do what they're going to do. Like what we talked about months ago on your show, right? When this first went down, we knew when hard drives were seized and things happened that, look, they're going to build a case. They're going to build a case that they think they can prosecute. It's not for us to speculate what's there or what's not. But to say, you have tangible evidence of something on camera that you've seen and that it's being sold in order to protect someone,
to avoid being publicly named, which is what even the lawyers are now admitting. It all feels really dirty and shady, man.
the only person that makes sense that could buy this is the victim, right? If the victim says, I don't want this to come out. Yes, it was consensual, but I don't want it to come out. I didn't know I was being recorded. Give it to that person.
Right, I guess, but you're right, because then they can actually own it. Maybe there is a version of this, so that's what Ariel's trying to allude to. You'll own it, and no other network's going to be able to buy it or show it if you own it and haven't given permission. I guess, is that maybe part of what they're trying to do here, in that the celebrity who buys it can actually then control it just from a clearance standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, look, it still raises some legal concerns, right? Because let me say it this way. If this was a transaction, if this is a business transaction wherein the victim is then acquiring the exclusive rights to this tape or tapes, and that the person who recorded it is avowing that they will not use it, I don't know where that leaves P. Diddy and the feds, right? But they have an independent right to bring this stuff to light if it gets prosecuted. But my point is, if you're transferring legal rights of this consensual or non-consensually recorded tape to the victim, I think that's a better position to be in. But then the question is this person even in a position to be able to buy the tape, right? Are they a high-level celebrity? Like, who are they? We can assume that they're celebrities with millions and millions of dollars to expend on something like this. Just raises a lot of...
As the controversy exploded, reactions from across the music industry began speaking louder than official statements. Fans noticed artists quietly distancing themselves from Ross online, while subtle social media activity fueled non-stop speculation about where everyone truly stood. Some celebrities appeared to support 50 indirectly through likes, cryptic captions, or carefully timed posts. Others stayed completely silent, avoiding the situation altogether as tension spread through the industry. Every small move became headline material. Behind the scenes, reports suggested labels and promoters started reconsidering collaborations, appearances, and shared event lineups to avoid getting pulled into the growing storm. Industry executives allegedly feared the controversy could continue escalating if more recordings surfaced. What began as another chapter in the long-running feud between 50 Cent and Rick Ross has now evolved into something much larger. Artists are becoming more cautious, private conversations feel less secure, and many are realizing how dangerous old footage can become in the digital era. The biggest fear now isn't what has already leaked. It's the possibility that more unseen material still exists somewhere in the shadows. And if that's true, nobody in the industry can feel completely safe.